changing your life one story at a time. This is the Chicken Soup for the Soul podcast with Editor-in-Chief Amy Newmark.
Hey, it's Amy Newmark with your daily dose of Chicken Soup for the Soul inspiration. It's Wow Wednesday, and that means I'm going to share a cool story with you today. This one from a woman who has an unusual ability to predict the future. So this is about Maria Morin. She's a Canadian whose stories we publish a lot. She seems to have a great story about every topic we cover. And today I want to talk about a story that she wrote for Chicken Soup for the Soul, Miracles Happen. The story is called Stairway to Heaven. Maria tells us that she woke up one morning having just been dreaming about a staircase in flames. And she's somebody who believes that dreams can tell you important things. So she decided to look up her dream in a book that she kept on her nightstand. First, she looked up the word flames, and the explanation made sense. She was supposed to expect something hot and intense before the day was over. Then she looked up the word stairway, and she was horrified when she read the ominous words, painful, horrible death. Then she thought to herself, well, it's just a silly book about dreams. But then the book all of a sudden felt very hot in her hands, and she dropped it with a yelp, and then felt a sense of impending doom. Then Maria remembered that it was her friend Mira's birthday, and they were doing a girls' night out with a few friends. They were supposed to meet at the Bluebird Cafe, which was a popular downtown Montreal night spot. Maria called Mira and said, we can't go out tonight. Something terrible is going to happen. Mira thought it was silly, but she was accustomed to Maria's premonitions, so she agreed to go somewhere else that night. And as soon as she said that, Maria swears she felt a hand on hers and a feeling of warmth, good warmth, came over her. She heard a voice say, yes, somewhere else. Mira said, it's settled then. But Maria said, I didn't say anything. Mira insisted that she had. She had heard Maria say, yes, somewhere else. Mira showed up at 7 to pick up Maria. She told her that their friends thought she was nuts, but they were all okay with changing the location of their girls' night out. And then Mira said, let me see this doom and gloom book of yours. Maria pointed to the night table, and Mira picked it up and confirmed what it said about stairways and dreams. It said, hot, intense, horrible, painful death. So now let me digress for a moment from the story, because I went on the internet and I looked up the meaning of a staircase in a dream. And it doesn't mean anything about a horrible, painful death. It means something more like opportunity, that you were going somewhere. But this horrible, painful death thing was what Maria and Mira saw in that dream book. So they went out with their friends, they had dinner, they drove right by the Bluebird Cafe on their way to the new nightclub that they had chosen to go to. Everything looked fine at the Bluebird, but they all got silent in the car as they passed the club, and Maria felt that invisible hand grasp hers again as they drove past the Bluebird Cafe, and she shivered. They had a great time that night at the other club, but on the way home, they had to take a detour as there was some kind of big traffic problem. When Maria got home at 3:30 in the morning, she was really surprised to find her husband waiting up for her, and he was very pale. Here's what he told her. He had just received a call that the Bluebird Cafe had burned down. There were 3 young men who had been denied entry to the club, and they had thrown a firebomb into the club staircase. 37 people had died. So remember how I mentioned that when I looked up the meaning of a stairway in a dream, it was all positive about growth and opportunity? Well, Maria says that a month after that terrible fire, she decided to look up those 2 words again in her dream book, flames and staircase. Flames was still the same, but now the book said the following for staircase. Lofty ambitions will come true. Even though she and her friend Mira had both seen in that book that staircase meant something about a horrible, painful death. Hard to explain. Well, the next time we get together, I'm going to share a story with you from a friend of mine who has figured out what we all need, and that is how to have a whole day of me time every single week. I'm Amy Newmark. Thank you for listening to the Chicken Soup for the Soul podcast today. And please remember to share it with your friends and family. If you'd like to learn more about the book I mentioned today, Chicken Soup for the Soul, Miracles Happen, please go to our website, chickensoup.com.